Oh. Hello. Welcome to one of a multi-part series here that I have Casey to thank for. Right here in Arizona, Casey needed to downsize part of their computer collection, and thanks to LGR sending them my way, we're now going to have a bit of material for the next few videos to take a look at here. So, this first video in the series today is going to be taking a look at all 11 computers that I have right here, which range from 486s to Pentium 4s from what I've been told. This is my first time bringing them all into the office, and I have not powered any of these up myself. Some of them are incomplete and won't be doing anything, but some of them seem to be very functional computers. So today we're going to be trying every single one of these out, taking a peek at what's inside of them, and just seeing what there is. Okay, so we got a lot to cover here, of course, but let me briefly introduce what all of this is and why I have it here. So Casey needed to downsize for reasons I'm not going to go into because it's their life. There's no reason to air that stuff. But these are computers that they could no longer keep. Now these, I don't believe, are their favorite computers. They had other computers in their collection that they were able to keep. So these are kind of extra computers. And up here are extra computer parts and a compact portable 3 there. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking these so that they don't go to like scrappers or scalpers or people who just won't respect these. I was given these computers so that they could go to someone who would appreciate what they are. And that is definitely something that I do. And of these ones down here, I've already picked my favorite. And I'm curious which one you may think that is or what your favorite may be. So we're actually going to be going through all of these systems today, seeing what parts they have, which ones work, which ones may have interesting futures to try and build up into something, and just generally see what we have. After this, I will be going through the many bins of parts up here. Well, that'd mean 3 bins of parts, but the thing is every time I come and I look into these, I see something that's really cool, like that's an evergreen processor replacement board. And then I took a look in here briefly and I see just right here a SCSI card. And then over here, I mean, I see a tape drive, and that's as far as I've let myself get into these because they're so cool and I don't want to get distracted. So that is going to have to be a separate video. And then the compact portable 3, I have actually tried to fire up, and I know what its condition is, and it's worth taking a look at in its own video. So today we're just going to start off with looking at the computers themselves down here, which does mean I'm going to have to clear off some space up there to take a look at them. Okay, now I'm going to break the fourth wall a little bit here because I'm going to film taking a look at all of the computers first and then trying to turn them on, but I'm going to edit it so that I intercut the 2 pieces because this is going to take a lot of work, and having to move the camera back and forth is just not going to work out. So you guys are going to get to see these in the more exciting order of here's what it is. Does it work? But I'm going to have to wait until I take a look at all of these. So I'm not going to know what the outcomes are until the very end of the video, essentially. But let's start off by taking a look at a few computers that I know won't work because they aren't complete chassis yet. Okay, let's get started with this first case, which is really cool looking, despite some little kid getting a little bored with a Sharpie and pencil, it seems. But this one's interesting. I think it's made by Aopen, and it's clearly designed to be able to go either desktop or tower with different orientations and feet that somehow pop out here. Looks like it should slide forward, but I'm not gonna mess with it because it's kind of cooler to have it in the desktop configuration. That's clearly how it was used. So this doesn't have any optical media drives, and it does not have a power supply either, which means that it definitely won't work, but there's no motherboard or anything going on in here. So this is an empty shell that's just waiting to become a computer now. So it looks like, based on this marking, that this should slide back somehow. Oh, we have a model, BD24-I333A. Intriguing. Manufactured by Acer. Okay, so it probably is an A-open case, and Acer is the OEM for whatever was inside of it. The front, yeah, pushes over and lifts off. Excellent. Getting closer. Excellent. So there is a drive cage, card holder that should go into the front there. I'll leave that off for now. So where is the power button? What is that situation like? Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Where's that front plate? I don't think there are power buttons. I think there should be a panel right here. You can see there's two clips here and there, and then there's this overlay where there should be LEDs and buttons and stuff. So this case may not be going back together as a computer anytime soon. So, okay, that's good to know. It's unfortunate because it's kind of cool, but yeah, I think just time has taken its toll on this one. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one and see what's going on there. Okay, here we have another desktop form factor computer, and this one is clearly meant to be only a desktop. There are no feet mounting points on the sides, so it is that exclusively. It does have a motherboard. There's something in there and some cards, so it's going to be something to look at inside. And it is also missing the power supply, but I want to take a look at it inside first, because this button is a little interesting for this system. And it may need a different kind of power supply. So here we also have a frequency indicator and a turbo button along with reset. So this is clearly a 3D646 era case, which is cool. But yeah, let's see about getting this open and take a look at what is, oh, there's some loose stuff. Let's take care of that. We have another hard drive tray. There's some more screws that are definitely going to need to be secured. Power supply. Now, interestingly, based on the button, I thought this was going to be an AT-XT power supply type thing, and I have one set aside here, but that very clearly will not go in there, despite this being AT power on this board. Oh, there is a battery on there that has not yet gone rogue. We will be taking care of that in this video. I will be removing the motherboard so we can get to that. Oh, this is a VLB board. Whoa, okay. That's cool. So we have ISA slots here, and then we have this little extension up there. That probably makes this a 46. It is a socket 3. Okay, I don't know what it's gonna be then. This era, I'm not super familiar with everything. Looks like we have populated cache. There is no RAM currently. But yeah, I want to pull out. These cards are not screwed in currently. So we're going to have a VLB VGA controller here, I believe. So, yep. This is a Genoa Systems using Cirrus Logic. So this is a 32-bit interface bus, kind of like PCI, but just an alternative. I don't know which one was first. I think they're kind of around the same time. Both of them were basically a middle finger to MCA because that was dumb. But yeah, that's something. And then this is a full-on I/O board, WinBond based. So that is cool. I think these are getting kind of hard to find. So that's interesting. Let's get an LED for hard drive access that is actually connected up front. So that's a little cool to have that as part of the interface board. I don't know if I've seen that before. Might be common. I've not seen it personally, but that's a thing there. And then we have the board itself. which I definitely have to remove to get that out. There's some kind of WinBond controller on board, but there are no peripheral interfaces. That's a little weird. Wonder what that's doing. Maybe clock? Because that would be why there'd be a battery. So it's got an RTC, but nothing else. Yay. AMI BIOS, that explains it. So it has the weird mouse BIOS that my test bench does. So okay, let's get that motherboard out, because I want to take a look at what this is. Those are all well labeled, so I don't need to keep that. Since the system is not really ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the motherboard out, and I will figure out what will make the most sense to do with everything later. All right, there is the motherboard, the AMI BIOS, and a battery there that I am gonna snip off. Normally I like to desolder these things, but in this case, I'm gonna be going through enough of these. This is not gonna be tremendously practical. All right, so there's that. It wasn't going bad here. It's a lithium battery, so it might have actually been fine, but I'm not taking any chances, and I don't care about RTC stuff, so away it goes. So, what do we have in the socket? Let's see. Ooh, the chip is not epoxied on, thankfully. Barely even thermal paste on there. It is a 46 DX2 66. Excellent. Well, that is pretty cool. I will go ahead and put this back. Okay, and then here are the VLB interface and VGA cards. So those are definitely cool. I think I have at least one other VLB board, so I'm going to leave these set aside, and I will be properly bagging everything here that I can. And for the boards that have standoffs on them, I'm going to try and remove those before I bag them as well. But that is it for this computer, I think. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, it looks like everything else here may at least have the potential to work. So I will be cutting in videos from the future now, where I try and turn these on, starting with this Dell Optiplex Gx1, which is a computer model that I have filmed before, but not on this channel. So I actually know a bit about these, and it will be opened from the back. Inside, we can see there is a modem and some kind of video capture card, it seems. That's cool. This has onboard video and audio, so it won't be anything too fancy, but I am personally a fan of these, and I'm curious what those cards are going to be. So this has a Pentium 3, according to the label on the front. If we remove this fan shroud and take out the slot 1 card right there, I can get a glimpse of it here. So Pentium 3, yep, 500 megahertz, Pentium 3. So that's no slouch there. This is going to be a pretty nice little system. US Robotics modem. None of the capacitors look super bulgy. I'm going to set that off to the side. You can see an ATI 3D chip there on the motherboard. It's going to be a little difficult to get to some of this stuff. Oh, that's an ISA capture card. That just got a lot more interesting. I am not seeing a hard drive though, so it won't boot, but we can at least see if it posts. So there is the card. It's got some Philips chips here. They were pretty common in capture cards during this time. But yeah, reveal, where's a model number? There's got to be one. Oh, we got some stuff. Reveal VE 500. So that'll be something worth looking at. Got S video and composite in. So that is a pretty cool little card there. Definitely gonna have to look into that more. It may just be a frame buffer card where it'll capture frames. It may not be full video, but with S video there, I don't know, I bet it'll do full video. Okay, this is a desk area I've been working on for a little bit. It's not great. Did this thing just fire up? No. Power supply kicked to life a little bit. but it's not perfect. I really don't like how white this whole wall and desk and everything is. So I'm gonna have to do something here. I've been trying so hard to find like a nice corner desk to put over here, but man, they are hard to find. But this should work for testing. I might be blurring the screen if people's personal information or other P-related things show up. So just so you're aware, and I wouldn't blame Casey for that. Old computers just have a habit of having stuff on them, whether you put it there or not. So let's find out if it works. I don't remember which of these will post or not at this point. It's taken me so long to get through them all. So there's a large element of mystery here now for me. Alert! Cover was previously removed. So yeah, one thing about the Optiplexes. Right here is an intrusion switch, which is kind of cool. I don't think that was working on mine, or at least was configured not to care, so that's kind of cool. Whoa, that's interesting. Invalid configuration information, please run. Okay, so it's got some bad RAM or dirty RAM more likely. So yeah, primary hard disk 0 not found, so I'm guessing this has no boot drive. PXE media test, oh, it's trying to network boot. Okay, intriguing. Posts though, so video cards working, processors working, some of the RAM's working, so that's cool. This thing can probably be made to work. Now, depending on how you look at this, there's only 2 or 3 more prefab computers here, so I want to knock out these two next because they're kind of the same computer, but not. This one is a P3 Performance from Gateway with Windows 98. This one is a P3 GP7 650 with Windows NT. I've never seen a pre-built with NT. I mean, they had to exist, of course. I mean, NT is just, you know, like, well, that's a server, but NT is a very viable operating system. It's probably going to be something more like this on here. So I'm curious what that's going to be when we try and fire it up. Hopefully there's still a hard drive in there because I would love to see that. And if not, I might try and resuscitate that one as an NT workstation, just see what that experience is like. But I kind of want to look at both of these at once because they are very clearly the same case. So we have the same really weird and dumb 3.5-inch drive embedded in the middle of the 5.25-inch base. This is cast into the plastic. Like I can move the front panel, you can see that wiggle around. It's not a 5.25 adapter in there. That's part of the case. A 3.5-inch in the middle of the 5.25s. So weird. But yeah, they are both kind of the same. Should be configured fairly differently. Curious what the motherboards look like. Motherboards are much the same, although they have different back labels. I can feel both of them have another punch out right there under that label, actually. So LP Mini Tower TB GP-650, LP Mini Tower TB3 Performance 500. So is that going to be 500 megahertz P3 and that one's going to be 650? Not sure. In the same slot, they both have a sound card with game port. I'm going to guess they're probably, I mean, is that PCB black there? It's hard to tell with the dust, but I think that's Sound Blaster Live. That's probably going to be a Vibra. Both of these have Ethernet. That one's got a modem with a speaker and mic connection. That's a little strange. That one has a VGA card. This one does not. So this one will not do video. I will probably just put this one in there when we test it later. Both of them have a fan port that is blocked. You could have an 80mm fan there, but instead you got a piece of steel. Oh, that's great. They seem to have different power supplies inside, so that'll be interesting to see, but both of them have thumb screws to get in, so I guess I can just pull that out there. And we can see what we've got going on. Another loose hard drive bracket that doesn't bode well for the NT system. Probably not going to boot. It's looking more and more like a Sound Blaster Live there. Bracket. There are hard drives! Yes! Oh, wow. Okay, that might actually boot. This has some notes. 340 10G plus NVIDIA. Oh, intriguing. This has a different kind of video card in it than this one seemed to have had. This one looks like it had some kind of PCI card. This one has an early AGP card, it seems. I want to say it's a Matrox Mystique because of how the board has a cutout there, but a couple of manufacturers did that. Let's first look at the sound cards here, because that's what most people will be interested in. I am very, very sure this one's going to be a Vibra Sound Blaster. No, what is that? Okay, after getting it out, you can see CT5803 in the upper right, and then it is a CT, or the chip itself is an ES1337 there, and that is an N-Sonic. Ah, okay, that explains it. So I think that's kind of like the cheap successor to Vibra, so that explains it. So workstation NT definitely doesn't need fancy sound, but I'm gonna guess over here this is gonna be Sound Blaster Live, and yep, Sound Blaster Live TT4830, classic series of sound cards. Very, very reliable, hard workers for Windows 98 era. Well, I will always recommend these, especially if you just have one. It'll just work for you. There are better options. Like I've gotten to the point where I prefer the Aureal Vortex 2 I put in my Windows 98 tiny Pentium computer system because it has more features that go in line with what I want. But that's a very reliable card. It's what I keep in my new Windows 98 PC. Let's take a look at this video card, because it's a little strange. I got some big ol' polymer caps on there, looks like. It might just be SMD electrolytic, but kind of weird looking. Avid fan, that's Elsa card there, okay. It's a Gloria 2, intriguing. So, this is technically a Quadro card. Interesting. Now, I suspect this card could have DVI based on this ribbon cable right there. I actually have a Matrox card I'm going to be doing this with at some point. So this would be pretty early for DVI. It would be worth adding the port to them because most people couldn't use it. But if you could buy it as an upgrade for your video card and add on board. It's a little weird. We'll get into that at some point here because I have all the stuff to show that. But this, what is this? An NVIDIA GeForce 256 core. Intriguing. So this should be a pretty jamming system here. I really hope that NT fires up on there. That one's just straight up labeled 200 watts on that power supply. I don't see a very obvious label. It's on the front of this one. That is a also 200 watt. Okay, so they're both 200 watt, just made by different suppliers. Pretty sure we nailed what the processor is going to be. This one's going to be another 500 megahertz. This one should be 600. I don't want to have to take off the shroud because I'm not sure how it's mounted. We'll just see when it fires up what it reports in BIOS. I just noticed on the back of these, they have date codes. So this one is from April 28th, 2000, and this one is from October 8th, 1999, which definitely puts these in that era I was mentioning with the DVI card where you could actually upgrade them. So I will probably see if I can find one of those modules. They are not tremendously common, but they also weren't super desirable. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, as soon as I plug this thing in, it whirred to life. So we're about to find out if the NT machine is actually going to boot here, because of course I couldn't help myself and I wanted to try that one first. We got post, so that's excellent. Let's do a tab here, see what we got going on. 384 megs of RAM. Okay, I think that was less than I might have predicted. Yep, 650 megahertz. I'm not sure what the E is. Hard drives showed up. Recognized the zip drive. I forgot to mention that. CMOS checksum. Yeah. Oh, password checksum bad. Passwords cleared. Well, that's good. Okay. Escape to resume. Come on, NT. It's trying to boot the floppy. Intriguing. I want to boot just Windows. Let's see. Okay, so it's Windows 98. All right, that's not tremendously exciting. We'll try 2000 in a moment here. Do the thing. Okay. There we go. That is functional. This looks like just a plain old Windows 98 install. Not a whole lot going on. Okay, so let's see what's on Windows 2000. So unfortunately, it doesn't appear that there is an NT install anymore, since it is going to be Windows 2000 here. It may have been upgraded from the NT install, but that's not really what I was hoping for. I kind of really wanted to see this as NT. That would have been cool. But again, we may go ahead and try and recreate that at some point here. Oh, it's been a long time since I booted 2000. 2000 is great. It's just not a home operating system. That hard drive is working hard in there. Okay, so relatively fresh install, but we have, oh, look at that fancy fade in. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Game Maker and Disney Treasure Planet Battle at Procyon. Okay. Intriguing. Game Maker. Does my monitor have a dead line of pixels? Is that what's going on there? Oh no, don't tell me this thing's failing. That really sucks. Okay, recent files. Whoa, okay. Man, they named everything with their names. I can't show you any of that. Oh my gosh. This is... Yep, this is very, very Game Maker-y. Oh, I won somehow. Well, that's not what I was expecting to find, but that is pretty hilarious. Yeah, let's continue on. Now, for the Windows 98 gateway here, I'm just gonna grab this nice little S3 Trio 64 here, and use that to try and boot it. Well, post it. There's no hard drive in here. Rather than move the other one over, that way I don't have to cross-contaminate since that computer was working. I'll plug power in last since I think the other one auto booted. Yep, that one fired up on its own as well. All right, see if we get video. I do have a power light. Very good chance that power supply's bad. Like, I would just guess the power supply is bad. Power supply is bad on probably every single one of these that works. They're just walking dead. Yeah, I bet that's dead power supply. It's what, Newton power supply limited? Yeah, no, dead power supply. All right, up next is this delightful little Hewlett Packard system. Long after anyone would recognize the name Hewlett Packard, they are just going by HP at this point. We got a really nice little multimedia system here. This isn't one of the ones that has capturing built into the front, but there's a bunch of other great stuff. We have a CD drive and is this the original DVD drive? No, that is a CD drive now as well. Are those identical CD drives? No, they are slightly different. So the DVD drive up there seems to have been replaced, which I'm not too surprised about because in the back, that looks like a modern power supply. It's got a 120 millimeter fan in there, but this appears to have been worked on. I'm guessing this did not come with thumb screws on the back. Oh, they're retained. It did. Interesting. Not a lot more to see on the back other than we got Firewire. That's a little weird. Ethernet on board. That's pretty nice. But I want to get in there. I want to see what this video card is because that's interesting. Oh, that's really weird. Actually, the VGA port is labeled CRT on the back of this card. DVI is just labeled DVI-I, which it also is DVI-A, and it would be DVI-D anyway if it wasn't, yeah, weird card. It's got S-Video out, so it's probably a NVIDIA card there. Oh, that's a very modern power supply. What do we got going on? There's a whole lot going on here. Whoa, that's a lot of extra cable. It is a, I can't even read what brand that is. Diablo Tech power supply. Okay, it's definitely a replacement. 575 watts. That's a little strange. Okay. This is a GeForce 6200. That's a lot of card. Wow. Okay, I think this thing's been hot rodded a bit here. Why is there a blob of, like, I don't know what that was. I don't like that it just exploded all over my mat. Was that poo? Was there a mouse living in here? How could it even get in there? It's all sealed. What was that? Oh. Oh, no, no, no. We're not firing this sucker up. This thing is done. That wasn't mouse poo. That was capacitor poo. Yeah, getting in there with some light, you can very clearly see those capacitors have all blown their tops, and I bet it was that one or another one up in there that leaked onto the graphics card. Wow, that is so bad. Yeah, so this one's not getting powered up because it won't do very pleasant things. Now, I haven't fully decided what I want to do with the systems that are not going to be usable yet, but I think I'm going to leave the GeForce 6200 out. But this one is getting the dreaded bad caps label. Which just means it's going to be an entry on Caps Wiki at some point. So it may yet live again, but being a prefab HP from the P4 era, there's not a tremendous draw for these. So although I'm not really sure that's even the OEM board, honestly. It's kind of fancy. The only thing that makes me think that it might be is the backplate. Definitely feels HP, but this cooler, that feels pretty uprated. It's maxed out on RAM, so I'm not sure what the history of this thing is. Onboard sound, which makes sense for P4 era for sure, but yeah, it's gonna need some work. And I will probably be the first person who would ever care enough to try and work on it. So yeah, this is going to be just left like this for now. Definitely not even gonna try firing it up. It's just literally a fire hazard, so yeah. Okay, up next is this beige system here, which is kind of interesting. We got a port cover up front. What is that hiding? I'm gonna guess audio, because this doesn't feel, no USB. Wow, I'm impressed. So this is straddling an era here. This thing is, that door is not long for this world. Straddling an era between the beige and that HP we just took a look at that definitely has a lot more functionality. That is a normal looking floppy drive in there. That doesn't appear to be one that's custom molded, I don't think. So that'll be interesting. My guess is, being, what is this, Impacta branded, this is System Builder, or that's a badge for the case itself. So I don't think this is pre-built. Yeah, stamp sheet steel plate. Yeah, so pretty sure. We got Ethernet, we got VGA, so that's interesting. There is an orange PCI slot, and looks like one of those weird Asus media card slot things. I'm not really sure what's going on, so board could be interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it from the outside, so let's take a look at that. And what do we got? No hard drive seems to be the trend. Some loose RAM I will go ahead and take care of. A really nice A-open motherboard. Whoa. And whatever video card that is, it appears to have some fancy caps on it. That could be good or bad. If they're unusual, then that won't necessarily be the greatest thing. See, A-open and Asus branded IDE cables. It's had a long life based on the fuzz in the heat sink there, but I want to see that video card. It's a little strange. looks like it's going to be another NVIDIA GeForce 2 MX 400 32 megabyte AGP. How does this? I've never seen that kind of AGP slot before. That is super nice. It's got this thing that slides on there for locking the card in. Huh. Fancy. So that is pretty standard GeForce there. But these caps, I really like those. What are they? They're just GSC. Weird. Why are they colored so funny? Huh. Strange. But yeah, MX400 GeForce there. Here, that slot is gross. I do not want to do this with too much stuff here because my office ventilation is really bad. But there's stuff in the slots. I want it gone. So I'll pop this back because that may actually work. It may post at least. Let's find out if I put that there, and then I'll put the RAM in the 2 open slots here. Well, there's 3 slots. 2 of them are just, the tabs are open like these were just removed. Okay, the Impacta. See if this one will fire up. Got the USB door that does not want to work. Horrible sounding DVD drive. Oh, that's not good. Belts have most certainly gone bad in that. Or, yeah, there we go. Oh, I can see it. It's real floppy. Yeah. Should be getting video though. No, take your drive back. Why am I not getting video? This is weird. Go back. All right, I'm going to turn it off. I'm just going to do that. Hopefully that shoves it back. I think that was all that power supply had. One last try. Because turning it back on, nope. She's dead, Jim. This system, I'm expecting to be interesting inside, because it was clearly a workhorse at some point. Dual DVD-ROM drives. Nope, that one is a multi-recorder DVD drive, a DVD-RW, that's super fancy. A Zip 250 drive in there, and then the 3.5-inch drive. And then around back, more USB than any one person could ever possibly need. And a Windows 2000 Professional sticker, 1 to 2 CPU. Now, there's no way it's going to be like an 8-bit BP6. That would be insane. So it's definitely going to just be 1 CPU. We've got a dual card here, VGA and DVI. And what are they calling it? Just DVI there. And then this is D-sub. And again, a pretty nice motherboard. The game port also has a keyboard logo on it, indicating MIDI. That's kind of cool. So I wonder if the onboard audio supports MPU 401 type stuff. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, tons and tons of stuff, though. Firewire with iLink, Ethernet, modem, USB, and USB. This thing is stocked. So let's see if we can figure out how to get in here, because there's no screws on the back. Looks almost like an in-win where you got to take off the top first and then maybe the sides will come off. This is really, really interesting here. I'm curious to see what we got. There may be a drive in here. Oh, this is weird. MYB. I don't know what the meaning of that would be. Never seen a non-in-win Q500 case need that before. Very strange. Let's see. How does this? Just lifts right off. Okay. And no hard drive by the looks of it, so it will not just boot. That is a very late motherboard for this. A Gigabyte GA8 SG800 And that looks like a P4 or possibly even Core series heatsink in there. Wow, it is AGP, so it's probably P4, but that's a thing there. That card is no slouch either. It is a GeForce MX 440 64 megabyte AGP card, so big brother to the other one. Oh my gosh, look at this tiny little, whoa, hold on, that's super weird. I mean, yeah, cool GeForce card and all that, but look at this Firewire card. That is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. Check this out. This Firewire card goes to an IDC header to plug into the motherboard, and it goes in between a couple of PCI slots right there. So weird. Unfortunately, though, I will not be firing this one up. I am seeing some more bulgy caps in there. They are on the precipice of going bad. They're not quite bad yet, but yeah, they're bad enough I don't want to turn it on. So that's unfortunate. So this is a really nice board. That's probably worth recapping. So that one's definitely gonna be done. But we're gonna have to put, again, dreaded bad caps label on here. It's be pretty easy since the panel's right there. But yeah, that is cool. This is a Gigabyte part, of course. The weird card. Man, that thing is awesome. I really like that. That is so cool. That is such a, I mean, it kills usability of that PCI slot, but you don't, that prevents you from starving the NVIDIA card there. But there is the 64 megabyte GeForce 440, or MX 440, I should say. So yeah, there is that card in there. This system I can see resuscitating, so I'm gonna leave the card in there this time, because that seems like a really nice motherboard. The HP board was probably stock. This one I suspect is kind of interesting, especially with that add-on card. That's really neat. Anyway, I am not too keen on trying to fire this up with the bad cap, so we're gonna be moving on to the next thing here. Okay, up next we have this Engren case, okay, with a Sony floppy drive there. That's probably pretty nice. And a 52-speed CD-ROM drive. I think I actually have one of those somewhere. This is one of the lightest computers I think I've ever picked up in my life. It has a modem. That's it. Onboard Ethernet and sound, plenty USB, onboard video as well. So it should theoretically be able to at least post. The case has a punch out for SCSI. That's a little nice. So definitely enthusiast grade there. Well, not a whole lot else to get into, so let's go ahead and pop the side panel, see what we're dealing with. I can't see from this angle, but I'm going to guess a Pentium 3, 256 megabytes of RAM, and no hard drive. Oh, well, it's definitely not a Pentium 3. It is an AMD. RAM is tough to tell. Two unmatched sticks. Let's just take a look at one. Cannot tell, but I want to say it's a 256 stick by itself, so possibly 512 total. Cute little red board in there, trying to flaunt its AMD-ness as much as it can, being that red there. Got the no hard drive. That seems to be the way these things are going here. Definitely formerly equipped. SATA. Oh, so this is probably like Athlon XP era then. Intriguing. Yeah, let's look at that. MS7061. Sempron. Okay, intriguing. So, yeah, I don't see any bulging caps, so I see no reason this one cannot be posted, and we can see exactly what we have going on there. All right, the Engren, the world's lightest computer that left a foot behind when I picked it up off of the other desk. That was, now I want to stay in there. Okay. Got something, briefly. Hey. All right, disk boot failure. Okay, is this one of the ones with no hard drive? Probably. But hey, post. That's something. I just noticed this case has ports on the side. 2 USB, a headphone mic, and a punch out for FireWire that wasn't used. That's cool. Up next, we have the Alaska computer. That's what it says. I don't know why. Up front, we have 3.5-inch and an LG 52X drive. Badge here that is pretty interesting. This is like a piece of just plastic with a sticker on the front that has been machined into it to reveal the white. So really cheap but effective, nice way of making a badge. I really like that. That would be cool for making like custom badges that have some depth right now. So that's a thought. Around back, we have a very boring motherboard that's kind of weird. USB on both ends, one serial port. Oh, big old blank area right there. It's almost like the USB and serial stuff right there is an add-on, or maybe some versions of the board didn't have it. But then we have a DVI VGA capable display card. No idea what it is, but we'll find out in a moment because we're going to open it up. All right, I'm having fun here guessing beforehand. I'm going to guess bad caps, no hard drive. I'm gonna go with not a GeForce card. Let's say that. There is a hard drive. Oh wow, what a surprise! This looks fairly complete actually. This may even boot. We got a WD-400, so that should be a 40 gig hard drive. ATI video card. Called it on that one. It is a Fire GL T2 128. That's actually, I think that's the best card we've seen so far. That's a little, that's funny. See, formerly occupied by an arachnid. This one has the more traditional, oh, we will not be firing this one up. I nailed everything but the hard drive, unfortunately. So fans of, it doesn't, no, that's not great. Bearings aren't doing so hot on that one. Probably from doing hot for so long. There is that card. Man, it's funny how much smaller they can fit 128 megabytes in those BGA packages. However, though, I can see leaky cap there. That's so bad that it leaked onto the back of the card like the other one did. I don't see anything. It would be kind of over the RAM chip, and I don't see anything there. That one's ready to go, though. It's just poof. Definitely a bunch along the VRMs up there. So yeah, this thing's not being fired up, no. Which is a shame since it's actually got a drive in it. Looks like it's a P4, but there we go. Weird alternate, that's kind of strange. I've never seen one of those before. Cable for the CD audio here. This makes sense, but it has two different kinds of connectors on it because some drives use this, even though this was the more common kind. But that can be used with either kind of drive. That's kind of smart. I like that. I think this drive may even have both connectors. But yeah, probably not a bad board and chip in there, but definitely not one we're going to fire up. Well, did you figure it out? Which one looked like it would be my favorite right out of the gate? It would be this one, a Micron Millennium here. We have an Iomega Ditto drive, 3.5-inch drive with a disk in it for some reason. What I'm going to assume is a 1.2 megabyte floppy drive using the erroneous green LED rule. A 40 speed CD drive. And on the back, we have a motherboard with onboard sound, which is kind of weird. PS2 mouse and keyboard, but they're below a serial port. Weird. VGA card here that I don't know what is. Can't quite tell. It's got some big chips on it, it'll look like. Yeah, there is a model number here. Oh, I think I know what the processor is. Micron Electronics, yeah, it is an actual model computer, this seems. So it is an M55HI Plus dash P166 dash MT. So I don't think we have to guess what processor is in there. There's a Pentium 166. Power supply has been replaced. There's some extraordinarily jagged metal right there, where there was a bar covering a fan output there. Somehow this side seems to come off. Got the bottom to slide a bit. Ah, there we go. Hey, okay. Ah, whoa, that is a cool heat sink. Oh, this board has so much going on. So socket 7 with this just delightful, we gotta see this immediately, Micron branded heatsink. Right on there, look at that thing. That is just glorious. Oh, man. We definitely got a P166 here. This probably is the original processor. I'm not even gonna look up what an SY037 is. It's just a P166, I know it. Okay, so we've got onboard IDE, floppy, and that is a modern power supply. Whatever that is, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's not a second floppy header, is it? That would be kind of incredible, but that's also a really weird connector for it. Looks like VRM cooling is actually being taken seriously there. What kind of chip is that? It is an LX8584. I don't know. From Linfinity. Strange. Some EDO RAM there, fully populated. And let's take a look at what appeared to be an S3 graphics card. So we have an S3 Verge from Diamond Multimedia. It is a Stealth 3D 2000. That is not a bad card there. So it has kind of a lot going on. We got MPEG. We probably have whatever weird version of SLI they had. BIOS ROM there. This thing is sweet. I like that. Now, of course, this is the era of 3D being introduced, so something like a Voodoo card going in here would be very appropriate, but that is not a bad start. I really like ISA slots, so I could have something like an AW64 added. Looks like there was something at the bottom, don't know what. Micronix motherboard with an Intel chipset. I'm guessing a bunch of cache right there. That is fancy. Yeah, it's a Russian website that's got some stuff, but I will have to look into that some more later to see if I can figure out what that weird port is, because I want to know. It's not, are the other ones labeled? Or are they just labeled like, yeah, so it's secondary and primary IDE. So power module, that's weird. So is that for like for overclockers, extra VRMs or something? Huh. That's super weird, but that is a really cool system. So yeah, the replacement power supply that we can tell from the outside, I'm guessing came from Best Buy. There is no hard drive. I'm not even sure where there would have been one, so that might be a boot floppy of some kind. Because yeah, there's cables stuffed up in there in lieu of a hard drive, so it wasn't just there and removed. Matter of fact, these bays are perfect. There's never been screws in there, so I really don't know where there would have been a hard drive unless it was in that. That could make sense. So there may have been a completely separate cable that went into that, although that's kind of terrifying for a hard drive. I don't know how that gets secured in there. That's super nice. And then, yeah, you can put screws right there. Okay, that's super weird. And this one's got like tabs that lock it in. Wow. The thing I really like about this case, look how thin it is. It's just so weird. It's just the sheet metal along the side of the drives to hold it in. No really weird, huge bulge. I mean, the side panel's kind of thick, but it wears its thickness, what little it has, so well that it just seems super crazy thin. It's kind of incredible. I really like it. Yeah, I don't see any reason at all why we can't try and boot this. So we'll at least post it. I doubt it's gonna boot, but we'll see. And last and almost definitely not least, that Pentium system that I am so infatuated with. This thing is really cool. Weird. but that just makes it even cooler. Oh, I hope it works. Oh, it's such a good looking computer too. Man. All right. See what we get. Does not auto boot. Tries to boot. Ooh, I like it. Green light, got video. Aw, yeah. So Pentium 166, excellent. Looks like 64 megs of RAM. Yep, that's pretty much what I figured. This is not gonna boot. So I don't really trust that floppy drive, so I'm not gonna put something like a DOS 622 disk in there from my real set. Is that doing something though? Is it gonna boot there? If not, I think I have a 3.5-inch FreeDOS boot disk I can go grab. Why is it so far down, this boot? What was the key? Was it escape? Or F1? Let's continue. Enter. Control delete. Maybe it'll boot normally and show the keys at the bottom. Very least here, I might go into setup and see if it'll, that's weird. I'm gonna guess that power supply is also not doing super great, even though it's a replacement, because that's a little strange there. Man, ancient power supplies suck. All right, I'm gonna give it one more boot. And then I'm gonna have to call it dead, unfortunately. Yeah, it's gonna try a little more. No, it's done. Power supply's toast. Okay. I bet that power supply comes from the capacitor plague era, being a silver insignia. Yeah, it's a little weird, so yeah. Well, there we go. I only have 3 minutes left on my recording drive here. So that's all we got. Out of 9 computers, 3 work. Well, out of 9 systems that had a hope of posting, they didn't have obviously bad caps. I think a lot of those had bad caps, but I'm not too surprised that the Dell works because it has its original weird integrated power supply and it was probably made slightly higher quality. And I would say the same thing about the Gateway, that's clearly a professional system, except the Windows 98 one didn't work. They do have different power supplies though, so that could be the difference. That Green with the really tiny little AMD board, I'm guessing it just never loaded the power supply in it all that much, because, I mean, it seemed to have survived. But yeah, I was wild to see that Pentium just declined like that in real time. Yeah, power supplies are almost always the issue. I think a future video, or more likely live stream, might be going through these with different, more reliable power supplies and seeing which ones will come to life with a better known quality source. So yeah. Again, a huge thank you to Casey, who gave me all of these. I completely expect this kind of attrition, so I'm not surprised or disappointed at all. But next up, I'm going to be looking through the bins of components that he gave me, and I'm really excited to see what's in there after the few sneak peeks I've gotten. Well, if you enjoyed this video, you may want to subscribe because there is definitely going to be more coming from this up in the future. And if you want to support the channel, I am on Patreon. But for now, that's it, and I'll see you next time.